Hi everybody, and welcome to this customer conversation at ConnectFX 2020. I'm super excited to have with us today Barry Donaldson from GR Energy. GR Energy is a customer of Liquid Frameworks, and I'm really excited specifically to talk to Barry simply because we have worked together for a long time. We got a long history together, so I think this will be a good conversation about FieldFX. Barry, welcome.
Yeah, thanks Travis, glad to be here.
Me too, glad to talk to you. So I think maybe it'd be a great opportunity just to give people some background on GR Energy as a business and what you guys are doing.
So GR Energy is a young company. They started in business about 2015. They had a vision of an organic growth in the upstream oil and gas service companies. They started as a wireline company, which is pump down perforating on completions, and they added a water management lift component a year or so after. And with that, they've grown organically. They focus on our customers, the service quality we provide, and the technology. They've grown a couple really unique technologies that bring a lot of benefits to our customer.
Yeah, a lot of great achievements and a lot of good segments.
Yeah, so we're proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely, as you should be. How about business before FieldFX? Maybe talk a little bit about operations, how things work.
So I came in afterwards, but like a lot of companies that are really small, business, especially the handoff from the back office to the field, was all done on paper. So it was spreadsheets, paper. There was no normalized process. It took a lot of time. There was a lot of mistakes on everything, and so that was one of the objectives, was to replace the paper and make the process more efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. Great objective. The number one problem that we solve, paper and improving cash flow. So why FieldFX then? What was the motivator? I guess maybe ask this. I guess the motivator was the paper maker, but why FieldFX?
Like you mentioned, we had a background from our prior relationship. We knew that FieldFX understood the upstream oil and gas service companies. You understood the processes. With the integration into Salesforce and the platform, it gave a robust technology base to build on and provide reliable service. So that was the main driver.
So how about the implementation? Can you talk a little bit about how that went, and did you do a big bang type of approach across all those segments, or was it staggered, maybe segment by segment, office by office?
Yeah, so I would have thought it was staggered within each segment. But they took, basically at that time there was 3 product lines. They took a staggered approach, but it was big bang for each segment. We had Salesforce in place for the salespeople, and then each product line went live, and then there was a dead space in, and then they've added functionality around that workflow as it progressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like I hear a different story from different customers. Some do staggered, some do big bang. So glad to hear that worked out well. As far as now that it is rolled out and you're getting all this great data back, can you talk a little bit about analytics that you might be leveraging, reports, dashboards that are helping the business?
So we do 2 things with the system. Obviously, we do the day-to-day tactical work. It's a great workflow. It's a handoff from our salespeople. So the salespeople go directly and create the information the field needs with all the documents they need, and it gets passed down automatically that way. So we have kind of a tactical level, and we build reports around where all the equipment is, what jobs are underway, and we use those probably daily as a report of what's going on. And then the next level up, we look at those reports and that data analytics to know how's the month going revenue-wise, how's the month going equipment-wise, do we have enough equipment? And then from a strategic point of view, we use some really nice dashboards with the dashboarding capability that focus on equipment utilization, returns that we're getting on that equipment, and it helps us make a decision on when to reinvest for new equipment.
That's great. I've heard a lot about the Monday morning meetings at GR. Can you maybe give us some insight to that?
Yeah, so right now we merged the pressure control and wireline together. We have 2 meetings every Monday. The guys are happy when we don't, when the holiday falls on Monday, but they just step through. So for wireline, for example, we pull up a list of all the current jobs. We know what equipment's on what job. We know what the estimated revenue. We know what percentage of the job's done. And then So the operations guys talk to that list. There's nothing else they talk about. If for some reason there's no activity in their district, you almost forget to call them up and say what's going on. And then we also use it to show, as the jobs are getting planned, we see what jobs are coming up. So they talk to the jobs that are about to happen. And then we segue from there to the sales team. And obviously we're using the Salesforce to talk about what's going on with the sales and what's the pipeline look like.
Yeah, so all the way from operations back to sales, closing the whole loop. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's an opportunity to cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Barry, can you talk a little bit about just sort of overall benefits that you're seeing? I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the great tactical operations that you guys are doing and a lot of the great data, but just a more macro level, what would you say are some of the benefits?
So, high level, we know what the price is going to be. We use the quoting module. There's basically almost zero mistakes on pricing. So we're not having to redo invoices, and so that speeds up our DSO. So we saw our DSO drop dramatically. We get signatures a lot faster than we used to on paper, which is an impact on DSO. So our DSO is better. We integrated with our ERP and all the billing type services that are out there that are servicing the upstream, so everything's automated. We start to get away from paper again. So it reduces our costs, reduces our head count that we need, so that's a big benefit. We track all the critical equipment, so we know exactly where that equipment is, how much it's utilized, when it's up and when it's down, and it really helps us with the investment, and it helps us drive utilizations on our return on our investments for all the equipment. So.
I want to go back and just talk a little bit about on the implementation side with Lightning, something that FieldFX has been doing for a long time. I know you guys have recently converted, so I'm kind of interested to hear how that went, any lessons learned or good, bad, whatever you might think, want to comment on.
Yeah, we were scared, and we, you like what you like. The Salesforce Classic platform worked well. It worked well for you guys. We didn't know what we were going to get to. We didn't know how to navigate Lightning. So we made the decision last year to navigate to Lightning. We looked to you guys for support, which was great. We figured you knew exactly how to implement Lightning. So we used you guys, and we used our Indium provider, and we got up the goal was to go live at the first of this year. So we got to January, and we got in one big room the day we were pushing the button, and we're waiting for all the calls, and we didn't get any calls.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, so it went seamless, and everybody loved it. That's the first time I've done an IT rollout or change where everybody complimented it, so it was great.
Well, good. That's great to hear. Well, if we go out to the field and we were to ask field engineers and let's say company people out there, in addition to just customers in general, your customers in general, what would you say is the response been to you guys' rollout of FieldFX?
Well, they probably forgot now. It is what it is. It's like they don't know the change anymore, so it's accepted. It works well. We don't have any issues with training. It's easy for the field guys to use. So I think it's really positive. And we don't get asked that often for a change on the mobile side. So they're happy with what they have.
Do you hear anything from customers, from your customers about it?
We hadn't, they, other than our customers like the flexibility of the pricing and we're using customer-specific price lists and descriptions, and so they understand that, so it makes it more flexible and it fits their business workflows, and we can adjust to it pretty quickly.
Great, perfect. So all that sounds great. What's next on the horizon?
Well, we had big plans in March, and we kind of stepped back for a little bit, but we want to dive into the equipment. We think that we have 4 or 5 systems, including paper, where we manage the maintenance and the tracking of maintenance and what's the failure and what's breaking on our equipment. So we like the fact that it's all in with the EAM module. It's all together in the same system, and most of the equipment that we track's already in the system. So we're going to roll that out in the next 2 or 3 months, and try to make a run at doing maintenance planning and maintenance.
So Barry, you guys are doing a bunch of stuff as far as transactional data capture out in the field and then using it in the office. What would you say is the requirement for data to be able to enable that to happen?
We make sure the customer's correct. So the FX is basically our customer master, and all the accounts are approved. We manage our contracts in FX, so we built out a contracts module which makes sure that we have the proper contracts in place. We built out the entire catalog. All the catalog items are approved, and we have categories of items, so it makes it easier to report on, and levels, so we know exactly what rolls up where. We manage our price lists and update them annually. So the prices are correct, they're current, the catalog, the current price list is what's needed for the field.
Is FieldFX the system of record for that pricing, or are you pulling it from somewhere else?
No, FieldFX is, we use your price list builder, and we use your catalogs, and so we don't have 20,000 items, so it's a lot of service items, but it's easy to manage. Thing we like most about it is for our big customers, we're able to create the customer-specific price list for them, and it flows across. It automates some of the approval process. We're really happy with the catalog system and the price builders. And
Great, good. I'm glad that flexibility is there to be able to achieve that. What about if you look at what's taking place with the current pandemic? Anything that you guys are doing related to FieldFX and the pandemic that is enabling you to succeed in this environment?
FieldFX enables what we have to do with our customers. Our customers are demanding distance access, even on the job sites and in the offices. FieldFX enables that, and we use that with some other software that we developed to monitor the jobs remotely, get tickets signed remotely if needed, distance from our customers as much as we can to make everybody safer.
Well, Barry, it sounds like you guys are really using a whole suite of the modules, and it's really ending up being at the heart of what you guys are doing at GR. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the role it is playing?
Yeah, it's if you start with Salesforce and we go all the way to when we drop it into our ERP, Salesforce and FX touch everything to do. It's the heart of our quote to cash. We touched a little bit on the data side, but all the data's there. All the data's correct. All our catalogs, we rely on that data. We know it's correct. We know the information's correct. So we use it for a lot of planning, and we get a lot of benefits just having it all in one place and watching it flow from the opportunities to the quotes to the jobs and then to the tickets. We even have a report that we use that shows the bill to revenue every month by product line, which is kind of impressive. We can see month on month as the tickets billed for each product line, and so you know if you're going to have a good month or a bad month.
Yeah.
Right away, it's great.
That's great visibility. Great. Barry, how about as far as FieldFX helping to enable GR's growth?
Well, the good thing, we started early. We jumped right into FX. We eliminated the paper really fast. The big benefit about helping us with our growth is, as a young company and an unknown company, it's hard to break in with the big guys, and so you're kind of climbing up the size of the smaller oil and gas companies until you get to the big guys, and then the big guys are surprised that you have all the systems in place like FX, digital ticketing, you can pass stuff digitally, and so they're impressed. They think you're professional. They think you're not just a mom and pop company anymore, and so it made a difference in our growth.
Yeah, it sounds like
we look big.
Well, you are big. That's great to hear.
One of the nice things about FX is that it's got the size and flexibility that, we're adding users all the time. We're adding operations. It's adding locations. It's easy to manage the structure, and it grows with you. It's really easy to grow within FX.
Anything that you would share as far as lessons learned for either customers in rollout right now or new prospective customers that are thinking about doing it? Maybe anything related to change management or implementation, those kinds of lessons learned?
Listen to your people. they know the business better than you do. So listen to your people that are in operations and sales. Don't try to do everything. Keep it simple, and then roll it out as quick as possible. And make sure you test everything. Do it as thorough as you can, and roll it out as quick as you can. And don't look back once you roll it out.
Well, I think those are great words of wisdom coming from a longtime person in the oil field. Well, thanks a bunch, Barry. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your experience today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I wish we were all together.
Yeah, well, next year, 2021.